So I wanted to swap out my front door speakers in my Saab 9.3 for a new pair to maybe gain some more bass. So I went for the Audison 6.5-inch speakers, and the important thing is that these speakers are 2 ohm speakers, and the front doors on these Saab 9.3s are 2 ohm. Most speakers are 4 ohms, and if you were to install them you would lose half of the sound overall. And these speakers here are also fairly sensitive, so you don't need like an aftermarket amplifier for them to play good sound out of them. And these are also made for mid-ranges, the same as the speakers we are replacing. So Audison, they say they are like made for factory stereos for an upgraded sound. So to do this we start by removing the door card, 2 screws under the first cover that we popped out, and then Torx of course, and then we can pry off the side card, and then we see we have the wire here going to the handle. You have to like unhinge it from the door handle on the inside, and then it's also like clipped into the door card with this white thing there. All a fairly simple process. I've done this a lot of times, so for me it maybe takes a few minutes. Then I just turn the door card around to unplug these 2 connectors in the door as well. So the speakers in the front are just screwed into this kind of holder thing here. If you don't have already speakers in your front doors, you need to get that kind of plastic holder thing as well, otherwise you won't be able to mount the speakers. In the cabriolet, the speakers I think are actually just mounted into the door card, and you don't maybe have that black plastic bracket. Earlier I needed to rewire the front speakers, so there's a little bit of a repair there, but the wires are soldered directly into the original speakers, so we just cut that off and find the plus and minus. The minus is the wire with the black kind of line on it, so we get the direct facing on the speakers, and then we just mount everything in reverse. Originally you have this ring here with a little bit of foam on it. I think you can mount that back together, but I had bought these new foam rings that I installed. Maybe they were too big and maybe muffled the sound, I don't know. But I don't really think that's necessary, but that's how I did it. I also went in and added some vibration dampeners. This really helps, I think, with vibrations from the speakers when playing high sounds, and you also feel it when closing the door and such. So when doing this job I certainly recommend you doing that as well. So when it comes to the result, I didn't really gain more bass from the front door speakers in my opinion, but we need to consider that the speakers that was mounted in the car was now 18 years old, so they've had their time to like burn in, or yeah, the materials would get soft, so maybe they won't need as much power for them to generate more bass and such. But the new speakers gave the overall sound a much better clarity, so everything sounds much better, I think. And I guess also with time the bass will improve, like within the first month of playing and such, because all of the materials get a little bit softer, and then also pushing out a little bit more bass. But overall I'm actually happy with these new speakers. with time I think they will give more bass, and also they gave a much better clarity to the sound, and with the added sound deadening into the doors and vibration dampeners, you lose all of those vibrations and such when playing high sounds, and it also feels better when closing the door and such. So yeah, overall I'm happy, but if you need more bass in your car and you don't have a subwoofer, as I actually already have, I would install a subwoofer instead before going to change front speakers.